And I'll share the class videos today. So today I'll forward it to you. Okay. Hmm. Right. So as far as our assignments are concerned for a business analyst, assignment tasks are as follows. What are all uh, you need to do? Okay, that I'm explaining over here. Case studies I have already given, repeating again. So just go through the case studies in detail when you get time and decide any one among that. So once you have taken the case study or a project, whatever the name you can call. So there are some tasks as a business analyst one need to be rendered with, because the role of a business analyst, again, let me formally give you a high level glimpse. Anyway, you have an idea, but as in when I'm assigning you the tasks to you, let me give you a high level glimpse over the role of a business analyst. This is irrespective of technology, irrespective of the domain. Role of a BA is to understand the business situation, providing necessary solution for any customer is what generally a BA do. When it comes to the solution, generally this can be categorized into two different parts. One is about a business solution and second is a technical solution. Business solution as a BA, we are providing by understanding the objective goals, need, etc., and how this can be translated into an application format. Which technology are we using, right? So either it can be an on-premise or it can be a cloud. By assessing the feasibilities, end of the day, what solution are we going to provide technically? How this can be implemented? That comes under the technical solution part. So when this can be implemented into a technical solution, make sure there are two situations we come across. Sometimes we are providing a solution first of its kind. Okay, there are three scenarios I'll tell you. Let us take our payments into consideration. Like, so for example, there is a payment system or a payment engine which customers are using for a very long time. Customer, nothing but a banking customer, I can say. It's how the scenarios could be. Okay, I'm just telling you the high level glimpse. Let us assume that a customer is using some payment structure or a system for a very long time. Now they wants to enhance that system. Underline this point. They wants to enhance means they wants to add some new features and functionalities to the existing one by considering their present as well as the future needs. That is scenario number one, right? It could be one. This kind of requirements in industry when we are working we come across. This is situation number one, right? Scenario one. Second scenario, they want someone to develop a new application or a new system from the scratch. Point number two, underline this point. Means assume that there was no system as such. They want for a new services that they were initiating, or for some reason they want someone to develop an application from the scratch, from zero to they have to start. So this is point number two. This is generally we call it as project based. Normally we have two kind of project and project based, product based. Project based means you're developing a solution for the customer from the scratch. When it comes to the product based means we have a product where we are configuring according to the customer requirement. That's what we call it as product based. Most of the services that we are rendering to the people is comes under this category. Okay, so this is the second situation as I mentioned. When it comes to the third situation, customer has an existing payment system they were using for a very long time. Now they wants to extend their products, extend their services in the next in other regions, etc. So hence they wants to customize a product, because now and then developing an application or a solution from the scratch will take a lot of time, and it takes lot of cost even. That's what generally we call it as COTS projects. COTS, COTS means commercial off the shelves. Means you are developing a solution from the scratch for a particular customer. So this percentage is very less nowadays, because for every service now and then you see, you will be having products. Let's say you want to use some service management. I'm just giving you couple of examples so that you will understood well. For example, you want to manage some project services and all, right? So service management and all. We have a service management tool, something like Jira Service Management or ServiceNow we have. For technical application point of view, I'm saying, I'm not talking about the functional side. Okay. For example, you want to go for some integration and all. We have some MuleSoft product, right? So, or else in healthcare and all, if you want to go for a health integration and all, now and then we are using Snowflake. Or some we wants to use some ERP products, right? So we have SAP available now, CRM, we have Salesforce, Dynamic Salesforce, all these were available. Even for banking, you can see, right? So if you want some core banking application, we have FlexCube, we have Finacle, right? So we have these products available. At the same time, for claims, if you are talking about claims in context to the healthcare side and all, we have some applications like Facets and all products, right? So in property casualty insurances, we have some guideware duck creek applications. Even in banking, especially in banking and all that. So we have let us come to the banking domain and all. So we have a products called banks product, right? So this can be integrated. So payment systems can be integrated with some banks application and we can perform. So you don't require nowadays to develop a product from the scratch unless customer expects. Because for every service, for every solution that we want to provide in any industry, right? So I'm not specifying one industry, be it can be banking, healthcare, financial services, supply chain, logistics, retailing, anything. End of the day, you require some product available outside, products are available outside. Which product is something convenient for your organization by considering the features, by considering the budget, we are hiring the product. This is the scenario nowadays, right? So it is happening. I hope you got an idea now. Now,
Yes.
here you can ask me one question. Then, Raj, as the product is readily available, the product is, assume that, for example, bank's product was there, or FlexCube, we have some other banking products were already available. As you mentioned, the product, nothing but the features, everything were readily available. Then what is that something we do, right? So we don't require to develop this from the scratch. So see, product available, whatever the features, functionalities were remains available. But end of the day, it has to be customized. It has to be configured according to the business rules of the organization. That is more important. So customization is something we need to do, because now and then we are following two things. Many projects, because many projects you see, not all, many, I say, majority sometimes, are migration projects nowadays. Migration means they are migrating from old systems to the new applications and new systems. Migration means old legacy systems to new cloud applications. Not everything will cloud applications. Maybe legacy to legacy, legacy to on-premise. Again, on-premise to on-premise. It can be on-premise to cloud, whichever the way they want. So migration is something happening nowadays. When there is any process of migration projects, there are two steps we follow. One is configuration, second is integration. Configuration means, as I mentioned some time back, there is a product available. Now, this product we want to use for our organization, for our business activity to perform, let's say, payment system. There is a payment system which is available, which is payment system is available. Now we want to integrate with some bank's application and we want to perform the activity, right? So some what are the international payments we want to do, everything we want to do it on this grounds. This is something we thinking of. Now what we have to do here, we have to configure that product according to our business rules, because organization, there are different business rules which we follow, apply. So this product has to be customized according to the business rules of the organization, right? So you have to make some necessary changes in the product, or you want to make some field level changes. There are some fields available. There you want to make some changes on the fields. So to identify that, so who should do all these identifying these requirements and all? This is where generally the role of a BA come into picture. Do you understand this, Vijay? Clear?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, this is where generally I'm generalizing this, Vijay. I'm not giving any example for any of the project. Whatever the process generally we follow, high level now and then I'm explaining everything for you, so that you get some overall idea before you are getting into the assignments or the work that I'm going to assign you. So we have to configure it. We have to configure. We have to customize according to our organization structure. So you need to make some necessary changes by adding some new features, functionalities, all that stuff. This is where generally we talk about what we call this is where generally we talk about customization or configuration, whatever that you can call. So to do this customization and configuration, either it can be field level changes or some kind of changes that the risk level changes you want to make. There is a need of a business analyst who should understand those changes, and as well as if there are any rules or something, like it has to be communicated to the technical team. Subsequently, the development team will do the coding, right? So testing, all that stuff will be done by them. This is all something happens. If you see this from the configuration side, for that BA is required. Second is integration. Integration means once the product we have taken, let's say we want to integrate, like for example, bank's application, bank's product you want to integrate with payments, or you want to integrate with some other CRM or ERP application. So integration means you want to develop some communication between two different applications. Integration is required. So for that, we need to develop some APIs and all. That is all something developers will take care of more. Okay, this is how these are the three different scenarios you come across when you are working for any organization, for any project when you are working as a BA. These are the three scenarios. Let me repeat again the scenarios for you. The first scenario is product is available, customer wants that project to be enhanced by adding some new features and functionalities for the existing one. That is one scenario. Scenario two, they want an application to develop from the scratch by understanding their business problem. That's called COTS projects. So we are developing for a particular customer, we are developing this project based. So in a simple sense, I can say this. Third scenario, there is a solution that they were using for their business activity. They want to customize a product. They have taken some bank's product or FlexCube, some other banking product that was taken, and that they wants to customize according to the government, according to their organizational structure. They want to customize it so that that can be used, because product is available now, you are customizing it, you are configuring it. That's all something we do. For that we require a person who should understand and gathering the requirements, all that. So these are the three different scenarios you may come across. Why am I saying all these before? Because I have given a couple of case studies to you. There were almost 6 to 7, as I mentioned again. So in those case studies, the case study which you have taken might belongs to any one scenario here. Any one, it may belongs to any one, because there were a couple of I have given. It may belongs to any one scenario here. First scenario, as I said, product available, adding some new features and functionalities. That could be one. Second, they want some kind of product solution to be developed from the scratch. Point number two. Point number three, they wants to customize the product by taking from outside so that they can use it for their organization purposes. Okay, this is the third. These are the three different scenarios you come across. You need to select any one in this. Is this clear to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, it is.
You're clear? Right. Now, so the questions which you need to answer from now onwards as follows. Means assignment. As a business analyst, what is that something you do for a project? What will be your first job? What will be your last job as a BA? This is a common layman question anyone will come across. So that practical understanding for you is important. It's not only about learning payments domain business analyst, but it's always important for you to have some practical assessment, right? As exposure, I can say. I don't say experience, but as exposure is required for you. So for that, there are some activities as a BA you need to know. So there are some questions which you need to be addressed first. Okay, how this can be documented, how this can be translated into user stories, and all, that's a different thing. Okay, so the questions are as follows. I'm writing down here. For the case study, again, I'm repeating, Vijay. Whatever the case study that you have finalized, I want you to answer these questions.
Sure. Yeah.
First, I want you to answer the question for business situation of the client or a customer, whatever the name you can call. I want you to write a business situation. It can be in um, you don't require to write it in paragraph kind of somewhere around 5 to 6 lines, more than sufficient. Okay, not so detailed, right? So let us confine this with the maximum 6 lines, right? So that is business situation I want you to write. Second question, business problem or problems. Okay, business objective, need and scope. Okay, business goals, need and scope. Okay, next, feasibility. So there are other people involved here because when you talk about this point, not only as a B, because even other people will also be involved here. Because when you talk about feasibility, Vijay, okay, the first three questions doesn't require anyone's. You will be interacting with stakeholders and you will be gathering as a business analyst, you and as your team. But for feasibility, it's not the case because end of the day, it's a collective responsibility everyone to perform. Feasibility study, they will perform, they will even, because we have technical feasibility, we have operational feasibility, financial feasibility, regulatory feasibility. We need to consider everything. Financial feasibility means how financial it is feasible based upon the budget that was allocated for us. That's all comes under financial feasibility. Financial feasibility means how much budget do we have? Can we develop solution within the budget or not? So for that, project management team has to answer that. So they have to find out, right? So how many people required? So what are the expenses, etc. Everything in all means. Next, technical feasibility. How far technical it is feasible? Sometime back, I have given three scenarios. Right? So customer want you to customize the product, which is already existed. So is it feasible, right? So can we add some new features to the old system? Is it possible or something? Is there any other way to do that? Technical feasibility. Technical people will confirm that. Next, operational feasibility. How far it is operationally feasible for them to use it? Regulatory feasibility. Regulatory feasibility. What are the standards? what are the policies, procedures that are to be considered to develop solution. This is all we call it as regulatory feasibility. So these were the feasibility studies normally we do. As a BA, our role is important and prominent, but there were other people who will be doing this as well. Right? So feasibility study, you have to do it. That is four. To an extent of your limitation, you do. I don't you to put your legs in the shoes of a technical people and to perform it. So if you are, you can do that. Otherwise, to the limitation of an extent possible from your business analyst perspective, you can write out. Because if you're talking about technical feasibility, someone should have some technical understanding to do that. Right. So if you are belong to that category, you do that. Otherwise, to the limited extent possible for the BA perspective, you can write down. No problem. Okay. Feasibility study, that is fine. Next, gap analysis. So gap analysis, where we try to understand two different things. One is as is and to be. As is nothing but the existing system, if any. Okay. Already scenarios I told you, you can consider here, right? So gap analysis you need to do. Next, to be nothing but the system that you are about to develop, right? So because you are transforming from old system to the new system, there are some gaps that were identified. Either it can be a functional side or it can be a technical gap. It can be non-functional, right? It can be feature level, security level, right? So what are the gaps were identified that you have to note down? So for that, of course, there are templates available with me. I'll be giving you one by one. I'll provide you. That's different. Okay. Gap analysis is the next one to be done, to be performed by you. Next, translating requirements that you have gathered. Okay. From different ways. Normally, to gather the requirements and to communicate with stakeholders, and all, we are using different techniques. That's what we call it as illustration techniques. Okay, the illustration techniques means either you can conduct some interview questionnaire. So through observation, you will be knowing many things. Through you get to know many things. At the same time, we conduct some JAT sessions to perform that. And when we are going for agile environment, we don't require all that stuff because we have a product owner who will be giving you all the requirements to you. Because product owners are the people who acts as a owner of the particular product, so they themselves will do all that. So that is something we do. So translating of requirements, if we follow uh, the traditional model. Okay, traditional model means waterfall model, all that. Okay, that's all. So traditional model, then we need to prepare some documents, something like BRD, software requirement with the help of technical team. Next, functional requirements, non-functional requirements, all that stuff. Okay, this is all something we do. Okay, this is something we do it. At the same time, if we follow agile way of thing, okay, then we write user stories, Apex user stories. All this will be written by us. Okay, this is all. Yeah, this is all about translating requirements. If you follow the traditional model, there are templates available where you need to translate based on the confirmation that we have taken. If it is agile environment, then yeah, right. So if it is agile environment, we need to write down some user stories. First, you can write down these user stories on the Word document somewhere, right? So we make some corrections, necessary corrections. Then that can be, then we can update those in the Jira board, right? So either it can be because we have a lot of tools available now and then, but we use Jira, you know that. On Jira, this you can write so that any corrections and all everything will be done before. Final thing, we can copy and we can paste it in the Jira board. Okay, there also you can write, but here so that there won't be any confusion for you also, right? So this is translating the requirements. This is what something which we need to do. Next, addition apart. This is, I don't tell you this is optional, this is mandatory, but you need to understand. Okay, use cases you need to prepare. Use cases and UML diagrams also. I'll write it here. You need to prepare some use case diagram and sequence diagram as well. Okay. This because visual representation is important when you are working on the project. Visual representation is important. So sequence diagrams also we prepare. We prepare sequence diagram, use cases, test cases also. For test cases, we have a tool called Jiffer in Jira, right? So there we can write down the test cases. Okay, use cases, test cases, use case diagram, sequence diagram. Mhm. After that, using Balsamiq tool, wireframes and mockups if it is required. Okay. There were many tools. I'm just listing some tools which are available usually in regular, right? So wireframes and mockups uh, to prepare using Balsamiq tool and all that. So this also we can do. Okay, this is also we can do that. Uh, hmm. So this is all as a BA, the kind of assignment that I am going to provide you. These are the tasks that you need to do it one after another, not everything at a time. First you focus on first three questions, answer those based on the case study that is selected by you, that is going to be selected by you now. Next point, when you are writing down the answers or when you are working on these assignments as a BA, remember 2 through 3 points carefully. First, whatever the assignment or the case study that you have selected so far, never expect all the answers will be on the case study. For the questions, the answers won't be available in the case study all the time. Point number one. Point number two, even though it is available, points will be underlined. You don't, for example, you want to know about the business situation or the problem. Don't expect the prior problem will be mentioned on the case study direct. Okay, by understanding the business situation, you have to grab what problem they were facing or problems they were facing, right? So you need to identify that. That is point number two. So underlined points will be underlined. You have to extract that. Third point, always important for a BA is to have a out of box thinking idea, right? So for out of box thinking, that's where you are learning payments domain, right? So anyway, parallelly you are learning all that. But out of box thinking means, is there anything else apart? If I want to know about a particular scenario, you always free to go to Google and you gather some information. Nothing wrong in doing it. Anyway, our sessions will go as usual, but any additional information you want for a particular project that you need to work upon, out of box thinking is important. But the real world, we have stakeholders who will be providing all the necessary information for us, which is necessary, which is not, that is your discretion to decide. But you have people who can provide you all. But in generally training, we don't have the option. So the reason why I ask you to Google it, that's only the difference. Normally we don't, because people are available. Whatever the little information you want, even you will be getting from them. But here we don't have the provision. So that is the difference. So this is the overall assignments are the tasks that you need to be performed as a business analyst for the case studies that I have given. You can select any one, whichever you like, by going through the case study in detail, whichever you feel is convenient for you to put in your CV. Because when you are updating your resume, people will ask you, right? So, what was your recent project, or what are the recent project that you have made? People will ask you, so that you should explain. So if you do some assignments or case study in the class itself, means during our course, I'll assist you. I'll give you some assignments as in when I'm giving you. So if you do it, I'll make the corrections accordingly. That's how we do. Okay. So that you get some confidence, right? So that if someone is asking about your uh, whereabouts of your project or something, so that you can explain confident, so that you will be understood the scenario also, rather apart from learning payments domain. Is it clear to you? Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Understood? Clear. This is